Ty.
I'm Rick.
I'm Richard.
And I'm Nolly, and we're Vintage Trouble.
And you're watching RockMAP. The album, One Hopeful Road, it is different only in the sense that we were only together for a band for 3 months. And so we lucked out because we were just going to be making this demo to sell at shows. All of a sudden it becomes this record that people like for a long time, and it's bigger than we thought it was going to, but it was still just something that we put together. And then we got to tour the world with some amazing bands like AC/DC and Rolling Stones and The Who and Lenny Kravitz and these kind of people. And we got to play small clubs on our own. We got to do so many radio shows and so many different things that really formed kind of, I don't know, it formed a clarity about what we wanted our sound to be. So I think this new record, you know, I think we got smarter, but we also learned to have a better time making music, and so hopefully you hear all that in it. I think it causes a lot of different emotions in people. We hear everything online, you know, because we talk to people online a lot. You hear everything from certain songs saving people's lives on the new record already, or certain songs becoming people's favorite song to dance to, or something that people, Run Like the River, people put it on in the morning for their coffee. So people have been responding to it in a great way, and that makes us feel good, because all you want to do really is satisfy not only yourself but the listeners. And that's it's a big thing.
In a way, we spent a whole year in Los Angeles playing the record, and there's always been this connection with UK and American rhythm and blues and rock and roll music. That for some reason there's some tunnel that goes under the water to that fire of going to UK, about the audience there, how they take it in, how they experience it. So I think when we went there, we ended up, you know, we were supposed to tour there for 3 weeks. We ended up staying for almost 4 months, you know, and the amount of feedback we got back from the audience was amazing. And we, you know, a big family of our fans, troublemakers, kind of began building a huge community there. So, you know, it was the beginning of connecting with Europe.
Run, baby, run! Run, baby, run! On, baby, run! Run, baby, run! Come on now, Glastonbury, get it to me!
First and foremost, you know, how to stay true to yourself, because all the bands that you just mentioned, you know, they do what they do. They're not following trends. They're staying true to their original, you know, feeling of what it meant to be that band, you know, so that's been amazing. They've also really taught us how to treat people, you know, because they've all been so extremely gracious to us as artists and as people and as supporters. You know, they've really just embraced us and uplifted us and made us feel, you know, worthy of being there. And, you know, that's important to do for your opening act, you know, and a lot of bands, believe it or not, they don't actually do that. So it was a real lesson in, you know, how to be gracious to people. You know, they taught us to really believe in what we're doing, because, you know, it's really humbling when these bands take you under their wing and then they actually really support you, you know. So it makes you want to step up and be a better musician, a better person, and really own your right to be there at the same time.
Baby, run like the river, run like the river.
You know, we did make sure for the most part, we chose our more up-tempo and rockier songs to at least bridge the gap between what they were coming to see and who we were. And then I think, you know, that was a smart thing to do, because you can't just play, you're not playing music for yourself, really. You're playing music, and music is a way of communication. Yeah. So you have to think about who you're trying to communicate with. And so, so I think it was a really good, I think it was a good match, and I think it was important that we did do that, because there was this speculation a little bit as to whether it might be not hard enough. So we just did the hardest that we knew and did it in the way that we do it.
You know, an AC/DC fan said, you know why we liked you guys so much is because you guys believe in what you're doing. So it wasn't all about the songs. Some of it was the presentation. You know, we have a lot of fun on stage. We have a lot of fire, a lot of passion. It comes naturally. It's just who we all are as people, and it just happens to light on fire when we're together. And people also gravitated to the energy, not only the songs. And it was interesting to hear that from an audience perspective, and it's not the first time I've heard it or we've heard it. So some of it has also to just do with the presentation.
They named themselves that.
Yeah.
It's the same at that place in Harvell's in Santa Monica. They, we would do 2 or 3 sets, and when we played our first set, we would just set down our instruments and walk out in the audience, and we just became, everyone was just friends with each other, and it became more of a connection. They were the 5th member of the band, the audience, and we had a friend of ours that just happened to mention, we're like, we are the Troublemakers, and then it just stuck, like it became a part of what we are. It was very organic, and it's just been growing, and now it's a community all over the world, from Italy, Australia, Japan, New Zealand, which is pretty incredible, and they all communicate through internet and support each other. And I mean, there's sometimes some girl wants to come and see a show in England, or she's from Japan and she can't afford it, and they pitch money together to get her to come over and stuff like that, which is really, really nice. We're basically doing it right now. We want to become better songwriters, better performers. We're constantly working and checking on things and how what we can do better and connect more with a bigger audience, and keeping the timelessness thing about it. We're trying to do some music that you can want to hear it 20 years from now. Become better songwriters, be better communicators, and how to send and receive. And we love traveling, we love touring, and hopefully we can do this in a bigger scale and keep the smallness with it.
So the future holds for us like Dubai, is it New Zealand, South Korea, Australia. We're going back to Australia, South America. We've been to Argentina, Chile,
Korea.
Yeah, so reach out to the world even more. The world is a big place, and we sometimes you tour so much, like you were saying, like we've done 260 shows in a year, and you feel like, oh my God, and then you come to a new place and they have no idea what the trouble is, and it's like, wow, so it's even, if you try to tour as much as you can, the world is a big place to try to cover it. So more and more.
You ought to believe